Tesla also out with earnings after the bell today. And these 24 hours of earnings are a tale of two CEOs. Tesla's Elon Musk is hailed as a visionary despite the company's financial and production challenges, while Apple's Tim Cook, despite the company's near $1 trillion market cap, is often not being as innovative as his predecessor, Steve Jobs.
So which CEO is the best bet for now and the future? To discuss, we are joined by David Garrity from GVA Research and Dieter Bohn from The Verge. Dieter, who do you choose? I mean, in terms of creating shareholder value, I would think that Tim Cook is your guy, but visionary founder doesn't get more eccentric and perhaps brilliant than Elon Musk.
Tim Cook is probably definitely the guy. He's very slow and steady, and so you're not going to have as much excitement and hype as you're going to get with Elon Musk, but you know that you're going to get what he tells you he's going to give you, and that's steady growth year after year.
David, which company would see a bigger share price drop if the CEO unexpectedly left?
I think in the case of looking at the company, you'd have to say that Elon Musk certainly plays a larger role within investors' perceptions at certainly Tesla and on the private side with regards to SpaceX. Certainly, Cook, to his credit, has been a very strong inheritor, conservator of the vision that was created by Steve Jobs. And certainly for a company, when we look at Apple here getting towards $1 trillion in market cap, it's 20 times the size of what Tesla is now at about $50 billion. Certainly, Elon's got the passion and the vision of a founder, but I would say that for my money, if I was an investor, I'd put money for stable long-term returns behind Cook first. Obviously, if I was a venture capitalist, I might be more interested in looking at what Musk has to say.
Dieter, what is the vision of Tim Cook as you see it? And is that relevant for investors right now when they continue to get these kind of quarters?
The funny thing is Tim Cook's vision is simply build great products and protect user privacy, which isn't the sexiest vision ever, but he's stuck to it and it's worked out really well. And I think that if they continue to innovate in terms of like iterative updates to the stuff that they've got out now, they're gonna do well for quite a while.
David, would you say there's a similarity between Elon Musk and recent CEO at Apple and Steve Jobs?
Yeah, no, certainly. You'd have to look at the volatility in terms of the personality. Steve certainly was someone to take strong points of view, wasn't necessarily concerned about popularity. Certainly we know that Elon Musk, with the earnings coming out after today's close, has some people who are some fairly strong critics amongst the investment community. But Musk has a long-term vision that he's driving his companies towards.
I mean, it sort of raises the question, David, about founders in general as stewards of public companies and just what kind of track record they've had and whether Wall Street wants to see that in general.
No, certainly. And I think if we look in the technology sector, you have to go back and look at Microsoft. I mean, certainly Bill Gates played a huge role. Steve Ballmer wasn't necessarily a successful conservator, but we now look at the company under Satya Nadella as CEO, and it's certainly breaking out to new highs and certainly, has a dominant franchise. Certainly with respect to looking at Musk, right now he's struggling to get a car, the Model 3, up over 260,000 units a year, which, if you look at an average auto plant, they're building over 300,000 vehicles. So, but the thing for Musk is he's looking obviously beyond this in terms of changing transportation for humanity more broadly, and we'll have to see how people buy into that. In the case of looking with Cook, at $38 billion annual revenue run rate, this service business that he's building is going to be quite significant, larger than most S&P 500 companies, and certainly with nice margins driving profitability and cash flow for investors in Apple for some time to come.
Dieter, how important is today's earnings call and earnings release, but the call in particular, for Elon Musk and for Tesla? If he failed to answer questions again and went on another rant like he did last quarter, would there start to be serious calls for him to move on from shareholders?
I seriously doubt anybody would actually want him to resign. He's too important to the company as the founder, and the whole ethos of Tesla is built around his cult of personality. I can't speak to whether if he pops off on the earning call, if that's going to affect the stock price, but I can tell you that he's spent the day tweeting about wanting to put Atari games inside the Tesla as an Easter egg. So it's always wild watching him on Twitter and watching how he works on these calls.
I mean, it feels like the tide has changed lately, Dieter, on that, and investors are complaining about it, saying it actually limits the upside of the stock, where it used to be that was the great hype machine of Elon Musk that has kept so many fans, frantic fans around Tesla, the stock, and actually the product as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He has built a real cult of personality. He's got a huge fan base of very, very rabid fans who will go out and buy a flamethrower from him. But the question is, are they only interested in him because of his big ideas, and are they going to be able to convert that into buying cars, and can he make enough of them to buy? And I don't know, I can tell you as a former philosophy major, ideas are great and they get people excited, but they don't put money in your bank account.